What's poppin'? We back after a much controversial GP, but indeed, I think a race that went a bit more dramatic, climatic, entertaining than most probably thought. I know a few people compared this track to being like Monaco. The overtaking is not as great here, supposedly, and sometimes that does show, but I think strategy and Pirelli's tire temperament has come into play to kind of change the characteristics of this track. Absolutely probably one of my most favorite characteristic tracks because of the elements that the track offers as far as the banks, the elevation, the downhill turns. I like the mixture involved in this track. Also would probably like to point out that this track was probably Mercedes' best opportunity given how it is, the characteristics of this track. I think it fit the car a bit better because we know typically in longer straight line speed, Mercedes is going to fall probably third in line of Red Bull, Ferrari, than Mercedes. So I think this was the opportunity, and I think that opportunity definitely showed itself. But there were a few things that happened to drop Mercedes out of not only probably Lewis Hamilton's first win in this season, but having a 2-3 situation on the podium. So let's get into this because a lot of people come to this channel and you come here because you like being here. And you come here and you drop your hate comments and, hey, I welcome you. You don't bother me at all. You don't bother me at all. You're not a professional and I'm not a professional. You're further away from being an analyst and journalist than I actually am. At least I actually put in work to do things and develop my own ideas, my own perspectives. You probably go watch a lot of different shit and then come up here and try to regurgitate shit that you learned. I actually look at things and develop perspectives. I'm not saying that all of my perspectives are to be taken in full face of this is exactly what happened. I'm talking about ideas and concepts that actually do happen in sports, okay? One of my ideas right now is that there is a conflict of interest with Red Bull having 4 cars on the grid in comparison to other teams only having 2 cars on the grid. Alphatauri is a junior Red Bull team. Alphatauri is controlled by Red Bull, okay? Let's not try to even find a way or shenanigans to go around that. Alphatauri is the farm team of Red Bull, the JV of Red Bull, the B team of Red Bull. Red Bull can mix and match drivers anytime they want between Alphatauri and Red Bull. I think that this is a conflict of interest. I think this is something that the FIA need to look at and say, hey, you know what? There's a vast difference. If you want to come out with Red Bull power units and you want to supply your power units or market your power units to other teams on the grid, and by God, if all teams say, you know what, Red Bull power units are the shit, I want one, and they all have Red Bull power units, cool, that's fine. You want a sponsor team on the grid to have a Red Bull logo on the car if they want to take it, that's fine. But I think there's a situation here that we need to look into of having you owning 4 cars on the grid, 2 teams, 4 drivers on the grid, while his other teams only have 2 teams, 2 drivers, 2 cars. I think that that's a bit of a conflict. And I think that this conflict has shown itself of the potential dangerous situation that it could be. Whether it is true or not, there is something to be thought of about here. There is something to be considered. Whether there was a conspiracy or not, there is something to be considered with Red Bull and AlphaTauri. All right. Now we're gonna talk to the first situation that has already happened. Okay. For you all to come here, for you all that say this, not everybody, that you are conspiracy theories, people are not fixing races. What was Abu Dhabi 2021? There was a factual statement made that somebody screwed up the race. Now, if you want to try to say, well, it's not technically fixing if somebody didn't like orchestrate a whole coup and put. Yeah, but do you know that? But we already know somebody broke the rules. Massey broke the rules. Jonathan Wheatley and Christian Horner also encouraged him to break the rules in which they are said to lay out to go. Massey can choose protocols. He cannot then take them, deconstruct them, rearrange them, and then implement them the way he wants to. That's not the way it works. That is not the way it works, okay? A lot of people want to try to get hung up on any and all. Okay, any money that you owe me, you need to pay it. That means any money that you've borrowed from me, if it's $100, any of that $100 that you have borrowed from me needs to be paid back. Any of it. Any of it. Every dollar of it. All money that you borrowed from me needs to be paid back. Listen, don't try to play that. Don't try to play that. Because if you want to do that, then you have to go. Then what we could do is go back and look at the way the procedure was implemented prior times before and see if that ever did happen. Did they ever not unlap all cars that the leader, Lewis Hamilton, passed if it was somebody else? That's what we then do. So then if your stick man or straw man situation doesn't hold up, your argument doesn't hold up according to the facts of how this same procedure was carried out before, then you look stupid. Because if you look at several other times, well, damn, every car that the leader passed did unlap itself. And the safety car did do its finalizing lap. Well, then there's a problem here because this is what we're getting into. So the last race, and I say that to say, don't ever say shit's not fixed, that everything is conspiracy theory, because it's not. All right. Now, there's a difference whether you can full-heartedly prove it without undisputable facts. I get that. I'm cool with that. But last race, Max Verstappen takes grid penalty. Goes down, shifts right on down the grid, as other drivers did, as it does happen when you take a PU and it's outside of those requirements in which you may not take one. He takes a penalty. Shortly later on that day, after we think the prospective grid is finalized, we find out Yuki will be taking a PU penalty, and he will start from pit lane entry. Okay, or exit. Whatever, going back on. He's going to start from there. So what does that do? That shifts Max up. It shifts anybody that actually behind Yuki's up, which Max was. Then we find out, I believe it was the day of the race, Gasly's going to start from the garage with some type of issue. What does that do? I believe that shifted Max up again. So while people are saying that Red Bull are in a position they don't need to do this, why? How often, and if you say that, then I ask you this question. Have you never seen anybody who is already in the lead still take an unfair advantage to remain in the lead? If you say no, then you haven't lived life. You've been stuck in a fucking room or under a rock, and you don't deal with anybody out here in life. You probably aren't competitive. Probably not one damn bit. That's what I'm going to say. So don't say that, because then you also look deceptive and stupid. Because there's plenty of times that we can bring up factually occurrences in sports where people have already had and already in the lead, but still do things to remain up in the lead that are unfair. So please miss me with that shit. All right. So that's what we had happen last race. Alphatauri, once again, seeming to have situations lay out that benefit Red Bull, that assist a positioning of Red Bull. Okay. Now we come to another race, but only this time there's some different ingredients here. It's the Dutch GP, Max home track. They've already pretty much built it up. The Orange Army is out in full force. Actually, even so much full force, doing idiotic things like throwing fucking smoke canisters on the track, causing hazards to drivers. Throwing FOD on the track, causing hazards to not only drivers, but potentially equipment. That was dumb. That's happened. That's a factual. So miss me with you're just looking for stuff. It happened. I mean, everybody saw it. Like, you sound stupid when you do this. So here we go. Let's go to the tape. Let's do that. So first thing we're going to look at is this. Alphatauri gives up explanation, which Yuki, to what was going on. He didn't, in his post, he didn't really have a good explanation to this situation. So let's look at this. First thing up. Yuki pits for tires. And this is where the situation itself probably started having an issue. Is the fact that the point that they were saying. Now, if you look at the way this tire, pay attention to the tire line on the Pirelli. See if you don't see a little wobble in it. A little wobble. All right. Now, mind you, Yuki has pulled into the pit and stopped. He has stopped. All right. So this is one stop. This is one stop. I'm going to keep track of these stops, and for a reason. This is one stop. This is one stop, car completely, and then going. All right. Yuki pulls out. That tire does look a tad bit wobbly to me. All right. Pulls out, boom. That's the first stop. This is where the situation starts unfolding. This is where I say this. There's a difference between hatching a plan before the race, and maybe that did happen. If anything happens to go wrong and we want you to, we need you to carry out said directions, we'll see if that happens, and maybe that case does happen. And there's a difference when you're in a situation like, yo, this could be to our advantage. We need this to kind of go this way now that it's happening and it's birthed itself. You can have that. You can have premeditated and while in the heat of the passion. I mean, that's even a legal situation, right? There's a difference between your charges if you have premeditated murder and actually in the heat of the battle, like you committed murder. They're going to look at those two things different, okay? So let's go to this next video. Let's go to this next clip. This clip is the next stop. Yuki has stopped because he says the tire is not fitted. So that's another full stop. And then after this full stop, what will we have? We have Yuki pulling off. Okay, so we have another stop and go. So that's two. This is two stop and goes. Two of them. This is why I'm finna get ready to debunk one of the explanations that Alphatauri offered up as to why they were unknowing of shit going on. If they had said something else, then I wouldn't be able to debunk it with this. But that is two stop and goes. All right? Two stop and goes. So here we go. Here's four. Here's the other video clip. Now, this situation right here is crazy. What you are watching is the point that Yuki comes in for the second time. They changed the tires. They changed them. Matter of fact, put him on softs. He was on hards. They put him on softs. But now they're talking about they're messing with his belt. Now, I never saw Yuki make moves to undo his belt or loosen. I didn't see it. But to be fair, his hands are below visual line. There was no camera angle to show that. And maybe because he's a little bit small, I wouldn't have seen his hands move. Because, by the way, before you idiots that are haters, not everybody else, I'm talking about specific idiots that are haters, what would you know, Wolfpack? Well, I know that I've had several builds that I've built, high-performance builds that I've built, turbo engines that I've built. Well, actually, let me correct that I had the machine shop and the performance shop build, and then I put stuff in and did everything that have been outfitted with not only harness bars, full rated racing roll cages, which I have one right over there on the other side of the wall that's going in my current build. And I have Sparko racing harnesses right over there and Sparko fighter seats that cost upwards of $800 a piece that I have. Okay, so I don't know what you have, but I know what I've worn on track in races and in my custom car builds, and I know how often and how long it takes to undo safety harnesses, and I also know how quick it is to tighten them up. So all of this going on right here with two people in there, trust me, it doesn't take that long. So why is it taking them that long? Why is it taking them that damn long? What are they really doing? Look at this. Look, come on. It's like, how many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? Stop playing with me. I know this. It does not take that long to tighten these harnesses. Yuki, and I'm going to tell you something else. The two-man team aren't even actually working efficiently. Sometimes really what you want to do is have somebody put the weight down on the person or for them to lower their shoulders, tighten the harnesses, and then that way when they come back up to regular rest position, they're nice and snug. That's BS. I know that from personal experience. That is BS. All right? So anyway, when we go here, this is what? This is our next stop and start, right? So we had this one. This was one. This was two. Now he's in the pit, right? He's in the pit. This is three. I believe that's right. This is three, right? He comes in the pit after this. Yes. This is three. He's in the pit, change tires, all the malarkey with the harness. So our last example, Yuki out of the pit, pull over somewhere safe. It's kind of ironic. It's kind of funny that Yuki pulls right behind the Salesforce sign. Yeah, I'm implying that Alphatauri is for sale and they have been employed by Red Bull to do some shenanigans. Just my perspective, just my opinion. So Yuki pulls over. What does that do? Now, I also would like to add, well, I'm going to say this first. Alphatauri says that they may not have seen it on data that there was an issue because they didn't realize it because the car had finally came to a full stop, went in the pit the second time and pulled off from a dead stop. Well, I count two more occasions before that where that did happen. So why is it now just being red? I mean, I know shit happens. We can say that shit happens. Wolfpack shit happens. I know shit does happen. But 2 times? Pulled over initially after the first pit stop because you all said that it was wrong. He stops because he thought something was wrong and he had the pit stop. So the first pit stop and he pulls off. That's 1. He pulls off because he feels the tire is not correct. That's 2. Then he comes into the pit stops again, 3. So I guess 3 times the charm. No, I don't buy that. I'm not buying that because there are reasons here that I just stated and showed you why I believe you should have seen that error earlier. So the question is, did they see that error earlier and leave it to ploy out this could possibly be conspiracy situation to benefit Max Verstappen? Because this is Max's home track. Max and Mercedes, for once, were not at their same pace. Mercedes happened to have the better pace with Lewis Hamilton than Max did. And situations, because they laid out, if Max was going to have to pit. Max was going to have to pit. And that would have put him behind Lewis Hamilton, who was not going to have to pit and was already running better times to try to fight his way back. Now, I do not think, maybe longer than sooner, maybe not, but I think more than likely Max fights back because the Red Bull have given Max a very fast car. The car is fast, faster than it was last season. It was a good car last season. It's faster now, faster than the grid anyway. Let's not compare because then people are like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not faster than the 2021 version. Whatever, shut the hell up. It's the fastest car on the grid right now. Fastest car on the grid in race situations. So, yes, I think maybe Max probably wins this. He's definitely on podium. Max is definitely on podium. He's definitely on podium. There's no way he's not on podium. Not in my opinion. I don't think so. Unless something catastrophic happens. But this happened to sway, to make sure Lewis Hamilton, I think, just my opinion, does not come out on top his first race win and Max's home track. How's that shit gonna look? Nah, we don't want that. We ain't having that. We ain't we ain't doing that. I'm just saying that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Don't try to act like it's not plausible, like it does. That makes sense. Things can make sense, although they may not be true. 2 things can be true. Things can make sense, although it may not be true. And so-called, it may not be exactly how it was looked upon. I'm just going to say that. So the other thing is this. Why do you all come here? Why do you criticizers? No, not because I like constructive criticism. Why do you haters? Why do you delusional ass Max fans? Because there are some good Max fans out there. I'm going to say it. I have conversations with them. I have some in my membership in my family. All right. Why do you come here and say, that you want to talk about it looks funny because you hating on Max? Did you not hear the commentary when Alphatauri was fucking around with the belts? They even said it was fishy. They were like, this is fishy. This is funny. Like, this don't even look right. They said it. Are you beating down on their door talking about why y'all saying that? No, you not. Why are you not? Why are you not? Why are you not doing that? Why are you only doing that here on my channel? Why are you only doing that? I'll let you know why, because I know you know why you're doing it, right? I know why you're doing it, but it's cool. They even said it was fishy. They even said it was suspect. They look funny, like, what is this going on? What, like, even dude said so much, like, I don't want to say so much unless I talk to my lawyer, but yeah, it could be. So cut it out. I think there is a solution for this problem. I think the solution for this problem that has, and I say a problem because once you have a mass of people having a problem with something that has been done time and time again, where there's smoke, there's fire. And removing the potential, even if it hasn't happened, the potential fact that it could happen, it could be tempting for you to do it. It should be something done to remove it. I believe that the FIA, Formula One should step in and say, you know what, Red Bull, you're going to have to choose. Are you going to compete in here as Red Bull Racing or Alphatauri? Which one's it going to be? If you're then you need to sell this chassis to said bargainers. This is who we have in here, bidders. Andretti. Sell Alphatauri to Andretti. Sell it to Andretti. Talk to Porsche, maybe. Maybe Porsche used their leverage to help Audi get in, under the Volkswagen group. But maybe if you say, hey, Porsche, you don't have to worry about this situation. Doesn't look like it's going to work well for you and Red Bull. Christian Horner has he's got the Napoleon complex about wanting to be the head honcho. Of course, Porsche is way bigger and better than Red Bull when it comes to racing. You ain't the head honcho if Porsche steps in. I don't care if they're only talking about buying such a percentage of your technology group. But if Porsche comes in, Porsche is calling the shots. You ain't that no more, Horner. He ain't trying to give that power up. Just like Bill Belichick definitely don't want to give up to Tom Brady that he's responsible for everything that has been built for the Patriots. I understand that, Christian. I'm not holding you on that, Christian Horner. I'm not holding you on that, Karen. I'm not. But yeah, let Porsche get Alphatauri. Let them come in as an actual team and power unit supplier if that's what they want to do. Just like Audi is. Let them do that. I'm cool with it. But I just think that the Red Bull conglomerate, possible scandal, whole bunch of teams, 4 cars on the grid, I think it needs to be disbanded. I think a team should only be able to have 2 cars on the grid, all right? 2 cars on the grid, that's it. It's clear that Williams is not like really Mercedes' foreign team. It's clear. Like the financial issues they're having, it's very clear that Mercedes hasn't stepped in to say, hey, we got you. They had to go reach out to Dorilton, an American financial company, in order to save the company and the people there at that company. And salute to them for that decision, because that's got to be a hard decision. But that's not the case there with Alphatauri and Red Bull. So I just think it should be disbanded. I think somebody else should be able to buy Alphatauri, run it as a totally separate team, whether they're going to stick with a Honda power unit or run their own manufacturer power unit if they are a manufacturer team. That should be whatever, but that's my take on it. I do think Max still is on podium. I think Max probably more than likely still wins the race. I just think that maybe Mercedes ends up 2 and 3. I also want to say that Mercedes dropped the ball. So, like, even though something happens, right, something may happen to be of disadvantage to you, but it doesn't mean that there's not an opportunity in there to equalize the disadvantage that has been employed on you. I think that Mercedes screwed up when they did not pull Hamilton in and put him on softs. They put both teammates on mediums. Russell made the boss call for himself. Russell decided that he's going to take things into his own hand. He didn't like the tires. He didn't like the temps. He didn't like the way it felt. I'm coming in, change my shit. Change it. Lewis Hamilton has done that before. I think right now he's giving more credit to the team than maybe he should. He should go back to where he kind of did those things in 2021. Like, I'm not coming in, or I'm coming in, and this is what I need you to do. But at the same point in time, an equal point can be made that why should he or any driver have to, right? People are getting paid lots of money to watch screens, to look at graphs, to look at telemetry, to look at data, to watch other teams in order to make the best decision for me as a driver and us as a team to win. I shouldn't have to do all that. All I need to do is make sure I extract the most potential speed and performance out of this machine that you have supplied to me. And hopefully this machine is top notch. That's what Max is doing. They've given him a fast car in the RB18. Newey has engineered a fast and efficient car for Max, and he's driving it. The car is great. That's what it takes. All right? That's the only thing Lewis, Russell, Max, Perez, Serge, any of them, that's all that they should have to worry about. That's it. That's it as drivers. Now, some drivers take it a bit further. Hamilton's one of those drivers. He gets more involved into the tech and the development of the car. Max will give his tidbits on what he thinks about here and there. You know what I'm saying? Albon is another good feedback. He'll give great feedback on that. That's what some drivers go a bit further to try to hone in things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not mandated that they should have to do that. But if you see the opportunity, I know I'm the type of like, I don't like what you did. I'm coming in, get this shit off. I'm mad right now. I don't want to be mad drive. I want to be competitive. So that's my take on that. Just a quick little synopsis video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. So next time we will be having coming out with one tomorrow, and that's going to be the Wolves Den. If you're not in the Wolves Den, I know some of y'all might see the video, but well, how do I get in there? How do I get into the Wolves Den, Wolfpack? You have to be a member of the channel. Go to the main page, click join us. You'll get your icon badge. You'll graduate. Your colors, your belts will change. You'll have access to the Wolves Den. You'll have access when I bring in guests to verbally ask questions. You'll have access to the post-race after party, after finale lap. There's a lot of things we do that are building here. So right now we have reached another milestone by now having 60+ members in the group. Last week we were 50. Now we're 60 strong. So big shout out to you, fam. Hey, subscribe, like. Peace. Thanks for watching another episode of Wolfpack Performance. Don't forget to check out some of my other content on Formula One and motorsports topics. Like, share, subscribe, and we go live on the weekends. See you soon.